Hello, and welcome back to SnowRunner, where you find me heading back to Smithville Dam. Hooray! There is a trailer. Oh yeah, that's right, I completely forgot about. There is a trailer that you can use to build that bridge that stopped me in last video. I completely forgot about that trailer. I was thinking I was going to have to drive all the way back to get lumber from Smithville, so I've got these consumables, one from the semi-trailer, and then I picked up another one, because we can do Riverside Repair since it will be on our way. It's a little bit of a detour out of the way, but it shouldn't be too bad, and so I figured easy money, easy XP, because honestly that trailer would require crossing, so let's just go get the wood on on Black River. As you can see, we're right by it, so we'll just drop these off, then we'll cut across here and come get the wood, and then come back and drop some wood off on our way back to the gateway. I had to pause recording. Let's drop off these supply points, service spare parts. I guess sort of same thing. Not really. Oh boy. One other thing is, I got reminded as I'm doing this, nice quality of life thing. For some reason, they haven't programmed it to prioritize trailer unloading in this situation, so what's going to happen when I deliver these wooden planks for Riverside Repair is it's going to take them out of the truck, and then I'm going to be left with a trailer that has cargo in. I really wish they would have coded it so in a situation like this where I have the same cargo in both truck and trailer, they would prioritize unloading the trailer so you could just drop the trailer. And that way you wouldn't be towing as much weight around. But it's one of those little quality of life things that if there's a successor to SnowRunner, I'd love to see if they're not even having to go back and retroactively add it to this game. Also, as you can kind of see, it kind of can get boring and repetitive when you start it out. So I'd love, maybe as part of one of the DLC, to see some older American trucks just to kind of shake things up with maybe at least one map of the, say, 2-map or 3-map region being beginner friendly, so you could kind of get a different starting experience if you wanted to. Wisconsin kind of gives that to you, it's just you don't have starter vehicles. Well, I mean, I guess you could wrap the 2070 with race suspension and engine upgrade, but you'd be missing the off-road gearbox, so you'd have to somehow get out there to get that. That's on Drummond Island, which I guess I could see a way I could actually do that. Probably with the Lodestar 1700, although I'd have to buy that. But I think that's one of the things that would help the replayability of this game. We already have New Game Plus, which allows you to customize things, which is absolutely great. But I'd love to see, like, say, 2 or 3 old American vehicles that use old American engines added to the game, just for some variety and for starting out of it. Because to some extent, no matter what planned regions you have that you're planning on visiting, you're going to have a little bit of an issue. So, just kind of something for a future SnowRunner. See, we got some money and we got some XP. And now we've got a trailer that has cargo and a truck that doesn't have cargo, which is kind of a little annoying. But I'll bring this trailer back. It's not going to be too much of a problem to pull it back. I'm not driving through any crazy mud on the way back to Smithville, so this should be fine. But for a truck like this that's somewhat power limited, especially if I was hauling heavier cargo like concrete slabs, this could be a problem for your smaller trucks. Maybe that would be another thing that could happen, is that the highway trucks, to make them more usable at the beginning of the game, could maybe get all-terrain tires early-ish. Now, there'd have to be a trade-off, and that trade-off would be that these trucks don't have access to all-wheel drive, so you either get one or the other. And that way you could either have it unlock a driver rank 4 or driver rank 5, instead of what some of the American trucks that we're using, which unlock in driver rank 6. Just kind of, this would also free you from having to do the usual contracts on Michigan because they're relatively easy to do with highway tires if you want to. So I think that would just kind of add some quality of life to the game. And as far as trucks, I'd love to see reclassified to the highway class. Just simply, in two of these vehicles' cases, they're only 2-axle, or when they have all-wheel drive, it would be technically considered a 6x4. But they start out, the C70 starts as a 6x2, and it would so much benefit from getting highway tires earlier. The other being the 65368, which comes stock with all-wheel drive, which is nice. But again, it kind of gets a little bit held back. To some extent, not too bad, but you could argue it should also be in the company. And that would also allow, if you were playing with rules in New Game Plus or hard mode where recoveries cost money, there could be a reason to use those two medium duty trucks because they don't cost as much to recover. Another vehicle I'd love to see is the Step 310E. I mean, that truck, there needs to be a reason to use it. It's a decent truck, but you kind of look at it and you're like, why would I use this? Well, if it was in the highway category, since that's effectively the medium duty category for this game, that would give you a reason to use it. And I think that could be interesting. So, just kind of my thoughts. Either that or the trade-off is they only came with 43-inch tires since they were technically highway trucks. I don't know. You could think of some interesting trade-off. Oh, and in case anybody's wondering, I made it back here with the CK-1500 with 3 liters of fuel. I made it to that fuel trailer. I was honestly kind of surprised I made it. I was expecting to have to drive the Scout 800 out on the fuel rescue, but glad I didn't. Anyway, I'd just be curious what vehicles people would love to see if they'd actually implemented my idea to give a little variety. For me, I've always gone back and forth on, say, an 80 F250 or F350, just to have a little more weight than the CK-1500, which is a, I want to say, a quarter-ton truck for this time period. And it just kind of feels like it's maybe just slightly too light for the amount of power that V8 puts out, so having a little more weight, plus being able to put a one cargo slot flatbed on it would kind of be nice. And then I kind of go back and forth because I don't know what the weight difference is, whether it'd be worth it, or having the extra traction of the dual tires that the 350 gets would be worth it, although the 350 the dual tires would definitely be worth it. I mean, that would give you a little more traction, which could be useful. But anyway, it's just kind of one of those things where Sabre seems to be doing good at adding mid to late game content, but I just love to see some more stuff. I didn't, in case anybody's wondering, get the GMC Brigadier. For me, the thing that was kind of the deal breaker was it was too close to the GMC MH 9500. Essentially, you're getting a truck that has a slightly bigger fuel tank. And from a game perspective, that isn't big enough to make me want to say, yes, I want this. And that's really the issue. If it had, say, come stock with all-terrain tires, then okay, I'll go, okay, that's potentially worth it. As like just kind of a starter game truck that's slightly better, that could have been something. I don't know, maybe being able to upgrade it to the GB6, the modern truck engine that gives you better fuel economy could have been something. If it had, or just its own version of the modern truck engine as a high tier upgrade. Either one of those I think would have been made it worth. Anyway, here we are, we've got a bridge. Let's see what time it is. Oh, we got just enough time. Let's actually deliver that cargo. I'll just park this right here, out of the way. And we'll go to Husky 40. And we're gonna do Work for Old Sweat. We'll just activate that one first. That's what the service spare parts are for. See how that locking diff helps us get going because the weight isn't evenly on the tires, so it is already making a difference. But I just kind of, that's kind of my issue with it. It's just, it wasn't different enough for me to get the Brigadier. And so I kind of, from one side, understand why they don't want to do any more trucks like that. But I think some kind of hybrid Scouts maybe could have been interesting. Or just some, just as a region, just a DLC that could serve as a starter region, which to some extent Wisconsin as a whole can kind of do. It's just you don't really have starter trucks. Although you do get another CK-1500 on Crossroads Season 8 blades, which can kind of help, but again, you're not getting the upgrades that are in Wisconsin, so if you really want to make it a starter map, you really need to make at least one of the maps with trucks that only have highway tires and maybe a locking differential in mind, just to kind of give something that works. Anyway, just kind of my out loud thoughts to look at this cargo. Oh, by the way, be careful here. You can't roll here, so what I always do is I'll come to the right side here, and then you can drive around so you don't even have to worry about the risk of rolling. This is generally how I avoid it. And you can go down there. That works too. I'm going to come a slightly different way. But if you want, you could have turned and gone down there to kind of cut the distance a little. I guess this is the part where we end it. I didn't even think this was possible. The only drama I've had coming out this way is going the other way with the 2070. I rolled it, and then because I was using the sideboard bid, didn't want to. The cargo containers that are down there that I was moving out for another contract that unlocks. I forget whether it unlocks after works for old. Let's actually check. What does it unlock after? Let's see. It should be. Oh yeah, that's right. It's fuel order, which unlocks from work for old sweat. But I never understand why it's fuel order. That would seem like I was delivering fuel here. But instead, that contract has you just taking containers, which you can pick up from the loading zone. You don't have to use the ones on the trailer, but I kind of feel that that's kind of the fun of it, was that was those were the containers preloaded for you. Anyway, thank you for watching.